Tonight, we are learning that one person has been killed, their body recovered in that collapse on I-95, with so many questions over how this could have happened. Pennsylvania State Police confirming that person's death on this stretch of that major highway running through Philadelphia after that crash. It happened on an off-ramp of 95. You can see it here. Officials say the driver lost control. The truck flipped. The whole thing erupts into flames. You can see some of it. Part of the highway above caves in, leading to this, what it looks like tonight right now. You see that? That whole chunk of highway just gone. 95 is shut down, obviously, right near there, and that is a huge deal. This is one of the East Coast's biggest highways. Hundreds of thousands of people use it. Truckers, it's critical to the supply chain, and right now, part of it is out of commission. The timeline to fix it could stretch through the summer. Listen.
Just to be clear, swiftly is not going to be overnight, and we're talking about major structural work. Definitely not days. I mean, if it's weeks, it's not, we're not talking about a couple of weeks here.
Yeah, weeks, if not months. That urgency is part of why the Pennsylvania governor today is signing a disaster declaration to try to get federal money fast so they can start rebuilding this thing ASAP. All of it creating a commuting nightmare, bumper-to-bumper traffic. That will surprise nobody, right? The routes that people normally take to work or wherever have to change up. Listen to what one commuter is telling us here at NBC News.
All right, pulling up where 95 is closed now. Gotta take Aramingo. That's like 4 exits away from where I normally get off. And this is getting off Aramingo. Yep. Squeeze in here.
That may be what it looks like for the foreseeable future. I want to bring in George Solis, who is live there in Philly. George, start tonight, please, with that late-breaking news, the recovery of this body. Do we know anything more about who this person is and some of the other questions that are out there on how this crash happened?
Yeah, good afternoon, Hallie. Some reports are coming out about who this driver is. NBC News has not independently verified. Only we're learning that this person was supposedly an experienced truck driver who mainly transported fuel. Family saying he was a family man and loved by many. But again, NBC News working to independently verify that. And as you mentioned, this investigation is just unfolding along with the demolition of the southbound and northbound lanes of 95. Today, we learned that the southbound lanes, which are directly behind me, are also fairly compromised. Initially, there might have been some discussion that these things might have been able to been supported in some way. Officials saying no way. The heat was so intense from this blast, they will now have to be demolished. We're talking about 500 tons of concrete in addition to what was already knocked down. Earlier today, they removed that tanker truck from the site. It is now on its way out to be looked at to see what more they can learn about this blast. The body of that person that was recovered today also now in the hands of the Philadelphia County medical examiner as well as the coroner. Again, just a lot of heartbreaking details and developments this afternoon. And of course, as you mentioned, the traffic nightmare that it will begin
That's
here.
Right.
As you can see, it might be behind me. It's now raining here, so just adding to that misery with this commute on a Monday. A lot of people also caught unaware by this, right? This happened over the weekend, so today a lot of people were shocked to find out that this happened, and now we're starting to see some of those long delays. And as we now know, this is not going to be a quick fix. This is going to take months, Hallie.
That's right. I mean, looking at it, even just seeing some of the images right as it happened about 24 hours ago, you knew that it was going to take a very long time to fix this thing. It's a stretch of highway, George, that I know well, having grown up in the Philly area. It's not just commuters, truckers, George. This is such a critical artery for the nation's supply chain. What does this mean? Like right now, how are trucks getting around this? Are they on the local roads? Does that mean a slowdown or delay?
Yeah, so about 160,000 people use this stretch of 95 daily, and we know this runs from Maine all the way to Florida. So huge deal, a major impact for commerce. Right now, truckers have been using this road that I'm behind to cut around. So it is creating detours. And of course, if you're trying to get from point A to point B and you're stuck behind, basically a convoy of these trucks, obviously going to add to your commute. As far as the supply chain impact, I believe we have some figures here that we can pull up. We can tell you, we know that up and down the East Coast, this is obviously going to cost trillions, frankly, right? In annual domestic trade, 35% of U.S. vehicle miles traveled, and it's nearly 40% of U.S. GDP. So we're not talking small potatoes here, right? Lots of numbers to deal with here. And now Hopefully, with this declaration signed by Governor Josh Shapiro, that emergency federal funding will get down to Philly as quickly as possible to begin the repair and restoration of 95, because it is sorely needed here.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.